Okay. Are we ready now, Katie?
Not yet. Mike said he's pulling into his driveway now. He's gonna hop on.
Okay, great.
Okay, and we're live.
All right. Welcome to the March 17th, 2021 meeting of the Southborough Zoning Board of Appeals. To begin the meeting, I'll read the statement on a virtual meeting through Zoom. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12th, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law 30A, Section 18, and the Governor's March 15th, 2020 order imposing strict limitation on the number of people that may gather in one place, this meeting of the Zoning Board of Appeals will be conducted via remote participation to the greatest extent possible. Specific information and the general guidelines for remote participation by members of the public and or parties with a right and or requirement to attend this meeting can be found on the Town of Southborough's website at www.southboroughtown.com. For this meeting, members of the public who wish to watch or participate in the meeting may do so in the following manner: by finding the meeting at www.southboroughtown.com/remote meetings. No in-person attendance of members of the public will be permitted, but every effort will be made to ensure that the public can adequately access the proceedings in real time via technological means. In the event that we are unable to do so, despite best efforts, we will post on Southborough's website an audio or video recording, transcript, or other comprehensive record of proceedings as soon as possible after the meeting. All right. Now, is it okay for us to jump right into doing the minutes without notification, or will that be a problem?
That should be fine.
Yeah.
Whatever you want to do.
Okay. All right. Why don't we make that the first item on the agenda? Approval of the meeting minutes from dated February 17th, 2021. Has everybody had their opportunity to review the meeting minutes provided by Katie?
Yeah.
Did anybody find any issues, anything to correct from the minutes? It was really not a very long meeting, so.
I have a question.
Question.
Okay, so I actually looked at them. So everyone is listed as remote, but myself and someone named Kathleen, who I just found out that's her full name, is listed as remotely. Is there a difference there?
No. But I probably should be uniform. I didn't notice that. So
Yeah, I did notice that.
I'm just proving that I actually looked at it, so.
Yeah, I will. Do you have a preference on which one you'd like to see?
I'm good either way.
Okay. I'll make sure that they're all the same for consistency. Thank you.
Okay. Besides noting the status of all the participants, was there any other comments regarding the meeting minutes?
I'm good with the rest of the content.
Okay. All right. If everyone's okay with the minutes, then we could take a motion to approve the meetings as stated.
Move to approve the meeting minutes as stated, with Katie fixing the consistency of the remote participation stuff.
Do you have a second?
Second.
I'll second it.
Okay. All right. All in favor? Paul?
Aye.
Debbie? Doris?
Aye.
Mike?
I wasn't at the last meeting, so I don't think I can vote on that.
Okay. Craig?
Aye.
And I don't know, Jamie, were you attending that meeting?
Yes.
You were. Okay. And I for Williams as well. Okay. So the next item on the agenda would be a public hearing for 9 Schuyler Drive, Eric Glazer variance. Do you want to read that, Katie?
Or we'll pull him over. Okay. The Board of Appeals of the Town of Southborough will hold a public hearing via a virtual Zoom meeting Wednesday, March 17th, 2021 at 7 p.m. with regard to the petition of Eric Glazer, 9 Schuyler Drive, Southborough, Mass. The petitioner is seeking a variance to expand the footprint of an existing garage within the 25-foot side setback in the Residence A district. Relief is requested under section 174.82D3C. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 18, and the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing limitation on in-person gatherings, there will be no in-person attendance by the public. Persons wishing to participate in this meeting while in progress may do so by going online to southboroughtown.com/remote meetings.
Right. And do we have somebody for the petitioner on the call that's going to present, Katie?
Eric, you said someone from Cornerstone might be coming. Do you know who that is or their name?
No, it's just myself for Katie.
Okay, very good.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you fine. Do you have anything you'd like to present, Eric, or would you like to discuss what was presented in the packet regarding the variance application?
Sure. So one, thanks. I appreciate the board's consideration for my my request. Basically, the situation here, and with the data I submitted with the plot plan, given how my house is oriented on my lot, I need to expand my garage because right now it's physically unusable. And based on how the property is oriented, it's forcing me, in order to widen the garage, to encroach within the 25-foot setback. Right now, my garage doors are about 8 feet wide. Ideally, it'd be 9 feet. It's a hard time pulling my cars in. And I have very little storage for all of my kids. I got 4 kids with bikes, et cetera. So I want to expand the footprint just to get more space. And unfortunately, end up being stuck doing I'm not sure if it's considered slight or not, but ultimately encroaching into the setback.
So is what you're doing then, it's really just extending the footprint of the garage so you can have normal sized garage doors. Am I understanding that correctly?
Yeah, if you have the drawing, I suppose I could present it, but the plot plan, the left-hand side of the house, we want to widen it, right, for the reasons I just mentioned, just to get additional space. And because, again, if you rotated the house 90 degrees, this would be a non-issue, but that's just how it was built. And
Right.
you can't move the garage, so it kind of puts us in a bit of a pickle that we end up encroaching because of the extra space we're looking for.
Yeah, the plot plan, that's page 20 of the packet, kind of demonstrates it pretty clearly how almost it's like your house is in the middle of a V between Schuyler and Sarenstone.
Right.
So I understand where you're coming from. I will say that it is, I think it's pretty well explained in the packet. If you don't have anything else, we could just maybe have the members ask questions.
Sure.
Why don't we, Craig, can we start with you? Do you have any questions for Eric regarding the application?
Yeah, just one really. I understand the desire to widen it for the, extra space to get your cars in and stuff like that. But it looks like you could add on behind it to get that extra space for like bikes and stuff for your kids. Did you look at that option at all? Was there a reason that didn't work?
We may, that's a consideration that we have, but it's one would add a lot of cost because you'd basically have to re-pour another foundation wall. And really the issue is width. It's really tight pulling a minivan into an 8-foot wide garage door. So that doesn't solve for that. And actually, if you see the drawing, we actually bumped the front of it out a couple of feet to achieve exactly what you're getting at. It would just be it's a less costly option than having to basically re-pour an entire foundation wall. And also, based on where our deck's located, the stairs to the deck, the excavation would be pretty substantial to push that backside out. So we decided actually to bring the garage doors forward a couple of feet to get the effect you're looking for.
Okay. So basically the existing stuff you have back there kind of precludes going back in
Yeah,
a significant way.
it's really the width. The width is the issue. If they had built, I don't know if you want to call it standards, but if they had probably more traditional widths of the garage doors and even somebody say additional space, it would have been helpful, but that's just how they decided to put the house on the plot back in the day.
All right, I mean, it seems pretty easy. You're not really abutting anybody that you're encroaching in on you're encroaching in on a setback that abuts a street that's, probably 100 feet away from your nearest neighbor, so.
Paul?
I mean, I guess I just have one question on that. On the, I guess, front elevation that's shown, that's proposed, correct? Where it shows the garage you're referring to, and then there's like a separate doorway entrance to the right of the garage doors.
Yeah, that's sort of an implied design. We're still working through with our designer and architect to get a final design, but that gives the impression of what we're trying to achieve. We would put a bedroom over the garage for, again, we've got poor kids, so we need extra space for our family.
But the garage currently exists.
Yes.
And is there a doorway there currently?
Yes.
So, like, to the right of your current garage is already a doorway, and I would guess like a mudroom or something there already.
That's exactly what it is.
Okay, so that's not like the width you're looking to expand. You're not looking to expand to get in like an extra mudroom in, or that doorway already exists.
Yeah, and that wouldn't move.
Okay.
Yeah, it's really within the existing footprint of the garage. It's just small based on how the house was built.
Okay. I'm good.
Okay. Mike?
Yeah, so I went and took a look. I took a drive by the property just to check out, try to visualize where, the house was and the relationship in the existing garage and the proposed addition. And again, he's just kind of painted into a corner from my perspective. And, it's just a situation where those smaller garages that were built are a challenge for that. Certainly the shape and topography of the lot really restrict what the petitioner is proposing. And so, there's just not a lot of great options with the lot and the structure that's currently there. So that was when I went and looked at the property, that was my impression of it.
Okay, thanks, Mike. Debbie? Can't really hear you, Debbie. Nope, still not. You don't appear to be muted, but there's just no volume. Still no.
I don't want to start trouble, Dave, but I think she's talking about you.
How about now? You can hear me?
We can hear you. It's
We can
kind
hear
of
something. It's so light.
very light, yeah.
Just yell.
Okay. I have one question about the total size of the addition. Just if you can confirm, is it 2-story addition? And what's the total size?
We would be putting a room over the garage. So I guess in that sense, it's 2 stories. As far as the size, I don't have a precise determination of what the additional square footage is. I would guess, the garage is probably will end up being about maybe 25 to 30 feet wide, 25 feet. So it's probably 600 square foot of living space if I had to get plus or minus, but we don't have final drawings. So the first step for us was just to get the variance approval So that way we could figure out how far out we could go, and then we'll get the design finalized with the architect.
Okay. And so, Eric, I don't think I have many questions. I think that most of them have been asked already. I think Mike makes a good point. One of the things that we have to consider as a ZBA is what the hardship is, and it's clear. I would say in this case, it's clear that the topography is a bit of an issue, or the shape of the lot. It sort of narrows you into not really having a lot of good options. So that's certainly, I'd say, a valid hardship. I will point out that there were more than one of your neighbor that spoke out in favor of the project. And Katie, I think somebody came in today separately to also speak in favor of the project.
Right. Yep. We got another email that I sent out of someone who said they looked over the project and actually, I think, spoke with your wife, Eric, and they said they thought it would be great for them and wouldn't impact the neighborhood in a negative way at all.
Okay. Do we have anybody from the public that's asking to speak on this project, Katie?
I don't see any raised hands.
Okay. All right. And I don't know that I heard anything that was necessary in the way of conditions here either. So I think I would gauge that we're probably ready to close the public hearing and deliberate if somebody wants to make that motion.
I move we close the public hearing.
Have a second.
Second it.
Have a second? Okay, Mike seconds. All right, there's a motion to close the public hearing. All in favor with an aye vote. Craig?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Paul? And
Aye.
Debbie?
Aye.
All right, and aye for me as well. Having not really heard a lot in the way of concerns with this, I don't know if there's more we want to discuss, or we're really ready to just entertain a motion to approve the variance as written.
I mean, I just have like one thing to discuss that, although I'm not opposed to this and, there's no neighbor opposition, but, if something's being applied for it, it should be a little more, exact in what's going for, as far as, I know there's relief for the encroachment part, but not knowing exactly what you intend to build is a little, concerning, because if we just, approve it carte blanche, then, anything could get done then. So, as I said, I'm not opposed to it by any means, but I think, there's got to be something in our decision that should not just allow anything to happen.
Well, I think
Yeah,
I think there's at least enough detail to say what the encroachment would be, correct?
Yeah, I
Are
think
you-
two things.
Go
I
ahead,
think
Craig.
one is that there's, we're definitely approving per the plot plan that's submitted. So if he encroaches further, they'll have to come back and ask for more relief. I think our motion can also say substantially similar to the drawings included in the application. So, unless they go hog wild and do something totally different, what we see will be substantially what they're going to do.
Well, and I wasn't saying that, again, I'm in favor of this, but I'm just saying that, it should be as presented, not, there were some things that Eric said that seemed to be like, oh, we'll figure it out, or we're going to, we'll come up with the final design. And that, if we're approving something, that's kind of, what gets approved.
Right.
Well, Paul, if I may, the elevation drawing is very indicative of what
The-
we'll end up. My point was,
Yeah, the public part's kind of closed now, so.
So don't worry, Eric. The other thing that I do also want to make sure is on the record is that, we found that the topography and the layout of the lot is a hardship. I do also want it to be on the record that we found that the addition and the encroachment is not going to be detrimental to the neighborhood as a finding of the board itself. I know a neighbor mentioned that, but you know, I want to make sure that's part of our record as well.
The topography is a hardship and there's no substantial detriment to the neighborhood.
Correct.
I'm sure Katie's got all that right. Or it's recorded anyway. Okay, yeah, those are certainly fair statements to make. And I think I would agree that you could, I mean, it has to be based on what's presented, and what's presented, I'd say the clear piece that he'd have to adhere to is the plot plan, where it does outline what that dimension is from the street is 20.5 feet. So.
Right. I mean, you know, the ending, whatever, elevation, design work, whatever, that's, you know, interior is like, I mean, I think irrelevant to us as long as it's not, you know, further encroaching upon what we, you know, give relief for is fine with me.
Yeah, I mean, also, you know, they end up putting a bedroom above the garage, they're going to need to go to the Board of Health and make sure their septic system can handle the extra bedroom.
Right, and that doesn't really have any, yeah, it doesn't, like, that's not for us to figure out or determine here.
Yeah.
So I guess all that being said, I'd make a motion to approve the relief as requested.
Could I have a second?
Can we be a little more specific on the motion in terms of approving the relief as requested per the plot plan and substantially similar to the elevations included in the application? Just so it's very clear that that's what's being presented.
That sounds better then.
So we'll take your motion as modified by Craig, Paul?
That's fine with me. Or if you want to just make the motion, Craig, and I'll.
I
You
think
want to just
you
read
made
the motion then?
Yeah, technically you made the motion. I amended it. So if you're good with it, we'll move forward with that.
Yeah,
I'm
Paul,
good.
just say so moved.
So moved.
So moved. Okay. And Craig, we have you as a second.
I'll second that.
Okay. All right, very good. We have a motion to approve as submitted. It's substantial agreement with the plot plan submitted. And we'll note that the topography is a hardship in this case. All in favor, say aye. Mike? Mike, that's an aye? Yeah.
That's an aye.
Craig?
Aye.
Debbie?
Aye.
And Paul?
All right.
And aye for Williams as well. All right.
Okay.
Thanks very much, Eric.
Congratulations.
Your variance is approved.
Thank you. No, just I've never done this before. Will I get any type of formal notification, or is the outcome of the meeting adequate?
No, actually, there'll be we'll have a formal decision written up.
Okay.
And it'll be posted, and Katie will get in touch with you about the logistics of how you go about that.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Eric. All right. So. Very good. Next on the agenda, we have 120 Turnpike Road, Everybody Balance Corp. This is, well, Katie, do you want to go ahead and read the notice?
Actually, David,
Sure, Craig.
what time is that one scheduled to start at?
7:15, so.
Okay, good. Just wanted to make sure we're not ahead of our time that we can start it. So
We're good. We're not that good.
The Board of Appeals of the Town of Southborough will hold a public hearing via a virtual Zoom meeting Wednesday, March 17th, 2021 at 7:15 p.m. with regard to the petition of Everybody Balance Corp. / Dr. Susan Erdman, 120 Turnpike Road, Southborough, Mass. The petitioner is seeking a special permit to include the use of an indoor recreation, athletic, or exercise facility in the Business Highway District. Relief is requested under section 174.8C2 and 174.85C11. Pursuant to Governor Baker's March 12, 2020 order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, General Law, Chapter 30A, Section 18, the Governor's March 15, 2020 order imposing limitation on in-person gatherings, there will be no in-person attendance by the public. Persons wishing to participate in this meeting while in progress may do so by going online to southboroughtown.com/remote meetings.
Okay, so just before we get started and bring in the applicant, I just briefly, I was thrown off a little bit because this almost seemed like a use variance, but this is a special permit. And just so everybody knows that the planning board has been reviewing this and they are going to have a review of it after we do. So we're reviewing this just as a special permit. So it's a legitimate application for the board to hear. So do we have the applicant or somebody representing on ready to present, Katie?
Hi, folks.
Good evening. How are you?
So this is Dr. Susan Erdman. She's the owner.
Hi.
I'm her husband. I'm the guy that does the paperwork.
All right. Glad to have you on, Brian.
Oh boy, Dave.
Yeah, okay, I got the little button. Good evening, Brian. Yeah, that has to happen at least once a Zoom call. So what we normally would do at this point in the hearing is you can, you two can make a presentation as to, what you're appealing to in this case, what the details are, maybe, what the limitations are. Just to make a presentation for why we need to consider your application for a special permit.
Okay. Be happy to do that. I don't think it'll take very long, but if I can share my screen.
Sure.
It says it's disabled at the moment.
Do you have to give them permission, Katie?
Okay.
So you should be able to share the screen now.
Yep.
Okay.
Whoa.
So just to sort of give a sense of where we're talking about, this is Turnpike Road. This is the existing office park at 118 and 120 Turnpike Road. The facility that we're talking about is a little tiny piece of 120 Turnpike Road. And the area that's highlighted here is all of the parking spaces that are associated with 120. That's the permit application that we have before the planning board, is basically to have them affirm that the change in use is not going to impose a problem in terms of the total amount of parking available. I don't know why this is not allowing me to move to the next slide. There we go. So this is 120. And the locus of what we're talking about, this is the entrance in from the one side of the parking lot. There's also an entrance here from the other rear parking lot. And we're talking about a little over 1,750 square feet just in this front corner that would be converted basically just to an open room that would have rubber flooring on half of the room and wood pergo flooring on the other half. And it would be used for yoga, bar, Pilates, and some boot camp classes. This is a bit of an eye chart from that the landlord prepared showing the changes. This is the upper right corner of that eye chart. And basically just shows a little more detail of the room. Come in through the vestibule, entry here, exit through this door down here, back out through the hallway. Obviously, we'd be compliant with whatever the COVID restrictions are at the time It turned out this was a very fortunate time to be needing to file for a permit application. We've been conducting just Zoom calls, virtual classes for the last little over a year now. But this is basically just a long, skinny area with windows along this wall and pretty much solid along this wall. And that's about it. And we did provide this sort of narrative summary to the planning board that describes the use, and the table of interest is on the top of the following page. Basically, it looks at 7,959 square feet. Average number of students per class is 10. According to the zoning code, we would only need 3 parking spaces, or worst case, I said 7 parking spaces under the zoning code for non-residential use. But in any event, there are 328 parking spaces available, either 290 or 294 that would be required for the office park. So they have an abundance of, well over 30 additional spaces, more than what they require. Realize that that's not you folks' issue, but just wanted to give you the complete picture. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Why don't we start with Paul? Do you have questions?
I don't really have any questions. It looks pretty straightforward. Obviously, it doesn't appear to be any impact on parking, doesn't appear to be any impact on traffic, coming in or going out. I assume the landlord doesn't have an issue with this since they're providing you with materials to get this approved.
Right.
So the building next door, I would assume, doesn't have any issue with this taking place there. So I don't have any other thoughts actually.
The landlord, Ryan from Ferris Development, said he might try and sit in on this hearing. I don't know if he's among the onlookers here or not.
We'll give the public the opportunity to speak after all the members do, Brian. So, okay, was that it, Paul?
Yep.
Craig?
No questions. I mean, it's an approved use in the district with a special permit, so it's clearly not a use variance, which is good since we're not allowed to do those. Seems to be a good fit. Seems to have plenty of space. They're an existing business in town, and I think it's great that they're going to stay.
All right. Debbie?
I have no question.
Okay. Mike?
Yeah, no, I'm just gonna, I have really no questions. It's relatively straightforward here. So I have no questions for the petitioner at this time. I'm glad they're able to hopefully change the use and keep on going.
Okay. And I would concur with the other members. It does seem pretty straightforward. Obviously, the issue here is that it's a mixed use in one building, which requires a special permit. You have no abutters or neighbors that are stating any objections to this. Is that correct?
We sent out the certified return receipt requested notices as required. Katie has copies of all of the return receipts on that. I've not heard from anybody.
All right. It looked like somebody chimed in on the chat. Katie, was that Ryan?
That was Ryan, I think.
Okay. If we have no other questions from the members, then we could have the public speak if you would like to. Public being Ryan.
Hearing none, I make a motion to close the public hearing.
Hi, folks. Good evening. Ryan O'Toole here. I don't know if you can hear me or not.
Yep, we can hear you, Ryan. Go ahead.
Hi, guys. It's a pleasure to meet you all. Excuse me. I just have no further comments other than just to confirm that we're in favor of this and hope to welcome everybody balanced soon.
Sorry, Ryan, could you just restate what your relationship is in this case? I'm sorry if it was already stated.
Oh, no, I apologize. This is a first for me as well, so I'm just learning as I go. But my name's Ryan O'Toole. Obviously, I am the asset manager for Ferris Development Group, the landlord of
Okay.
120 Turnpike Road.
Okay, great. Katie, is there anybody else who wants to speak?
I don't see any other hands raised.
Okay. All right. Do any of the members have any other questions at this time for the applicants?
Amy, Doris?
Can I just?
Oh, no, I don't have any further questions. I'm just happy to see that they're going to reinvest in the community and have the two businesses, and I see it as a very good use of the location. So I wish you the best.
Thank you.
All right.
Can I just add one comment, David?
Yes, you can.
I've been a member of a bunch of town boards and committees over the past 12 to 15 years here in Hopkinton, and I just want to compliment Katie on the extraordinary help she was, and she's a gem. So don't let her get away from you guys.
Oh no, we know she's good.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
We usually scare everyone away, but
Yeah, somehow she keeps coming back for more. I don't know what it is. Jamie, you won't have a vote, but do you have any questions?
No, I just echo what Doris said, that I'm happy they're still in the community and I don't see an issue with this.
Okay.
And I also think Katie is great, so.
Yeah, we'll have to have another motion on that, I guess.
Yeah.
All right. Well, in that case, if we don't have any further questions, then I'll take a motion to close the public part of the meeting.
So moved.
So moved. All right.
second,
We have a second. Okay. Is there anything really left that we need to discuss as a board? There was obviously very few questions there for the applicants. We know that this does go on to the planning board from here. This is really just to say that the mixed use isn't allowed use. So.
Can we just do the roll call part of the?
we need to close a vote to close the
Oh,
meeting,
I'm sorry. You're right. Yep. Oops.
the
Forgot.
hearing, excuse me.
Okay. We have the first take care of business. There's a motion to close the public part of the hearing. All in favor, say aye. Mike?
Aye.
Paul? That's an aye.
Aye.
Debbie?
Aye.
And Craig?
Aye.
Yep, an aye for me as well. Sorry about that. Thanks for the reminder. Is there anything more to deliberate about here? I would say there really wasn't much that was discussed, so we could go straight on to entertaining a motion to approve the special permit as written.
I move that we approve the special permit as written.
Do you have a second?
I'll second that.
Like seconds. Okay, we have a motion to approve the special permit as written with a second. All in favor, say aye. Mike?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
Debbie?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
And Williams, aye as well. The motion carries. The special permit is approved. Congratulations. Like we just recently went over, there'll be a decision that'll be written up on this that you'll receive. Congratulations.
Thank you, folks, for your time.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Okay. So, of course, now I went to sleep. Katie, I think there's just one other item on the agenda.
Update on the zoning.
Yeah, and the bylaw, the proposed bylaw change.
Yeah. Which, so there was a meeting of the planning board that I attended, but I don't know if Craig had a similar experience, but they talked about it. They didn't have any questions from where they said what would you like to say? And I said, we talked about it. It's just clarifying language. I don't think there's anything unclear about it. I don't know, Craig, do you recall the history of it? Isn't this really just clarifying by adding a little bit about, under construction to clarify the bylaw or the code?
Yeah, this kind of came about because of a resident or a homeowner on Newton Street or Ave or whatever it is. And the repair capability of a non-conforming structure just had some vagueness to it. And the bylaw as it's written is really just there to give the homeowners and the people doing the work more kind of by right capability. In this case, it was, there was a deck that needed to be fixed, but it was so bad that it needed to be torn down and put back up in the exact same dimensions. But as soon as you tore it down, it caused an issue with non-conforming structures and having to bring everything back into conformance, and that was it was onerous. So it's really just allowing people to fix properly what already exists.
So that's really mostly the nature of it, the fact that even though you're going to be non-compliant and you're not making it any worse, you're just clarifying you can reconstruct.
Yeah, and there's limits, like you can't just tear the whole house down and do it, but it's like if you need to fix something, and it has to come down to some degree, you're allowed to do it. So
okay,
it really is just a clarification of something that we would normally just approve anyway.
Right.
So.
Okay. So, I don't know if you have more. I don't know. I feel like you've got more of a background with it, Craig. If that's something that needs to be restated at town meeting, because that's where any zoning changes have to go. Would you be willing to speak there?
Yeah. I think
okay.
I'll be able to speak on it. It's been a while since I've taken a look at it in depth, but that was my understanding of the intent and the minor changes.
Yeah, when I looked at all of it, and I recall all of it, but it was the detail behind it that I didn't really remember exactly what drove that. Yeah. I interpret it as, and maybe Mike, you do as well, that I just interpret it as clarifying language so that people aren't hamstrung by, more or less what you were saying, Craig. It seemed logical to further explain these are the things that are allowed. But
Yep.
Yeah. And Katie, do we have any sense for what sort of shape town meeting is going to take this year? Or
Yes, I think they've decided on a May date outside. I don't think anything is getting pushed to a later date like they did last time. They're going to try and get everything in on a Saturday in May at 10 a.m.
Okay. All right.
And I already have a beautiful PowerPoint if anybody wants to use it.
You do? Okay.
Great.
All right.
Well, since my day job is giving presentations in front of the zoning board, then this will be my weekend job too.
There you go. All right. So moved. Did anybody else have concerns about the modifications or questions on the change in the zoning code?
I remember the applicant, and I agree with Craig's assessment of things. So yeah, that sounds pretty good.
Okay. Okay. All right. Well, if there's nothing else on the topic, then what are we looking at next month, Katie?
So next month, I have one application already submitted from Ken's Food. They are looking to do an expansion of about 62,500 gross square foot expansion at the site. So
Here we go again.
Oh, boy, yeah.
It is,
Trial balloons.
coordinates a substantial investment in the internal operations of its business by purchasing additional equipment for the facility at the site.
Yeah, they've been before the board more than once, I think, so.
Yeah, I think you'll probably recognize the applicants, Bill Pizzoni, so.
Yeah.
He's the attorney representing them. Didn't they at one point, Craig, were you on the, didn't they at one point get approval from us to expand, but then they decided not to? Or am I getting everything confused?
I thought they had something on the building to show the height that they were proposing to go to, and I'm not sure. I think you may be right, Paul. I don't know if they actually did that.
Because I mean, the first thing was for 24, like 3 shifts for the 24 hours.
Right.
But I thought then they came back again for expansion because they were automating, and we approved it. So. Did that expire, or is this something completely different?
Haven't
Haven't
seen the application yet, so.
Yeah, it's hard to say.
Yeah.
The other one I remember is about their sign, right? Because that didn't meet.
That was the third one, yeah, which I still thought was conforming, but anyway.
Yes,
So,
Looks nice.
yeah, I think they've done a good job there. It does look good.
so.
All right, so that what's the date on that, Katie? A month from
April
now?
1st. So, and if you want, I can send the application over tomorrow if you guys want to take a look at it.
Sure.
Yeah, I think this is a bigger application than, say, expanding a garage or a special permit for an allowed use. So the more time we have to review the information and dig into it, the better.
Yeah, I would agree. So I'm sorry, Katie, did you say April 21?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right. I have nothing else left on the agenda.
Oh, you're up.
It's my turn?
Your turn.
Oh,
Is it good? Hold on, we warm up here. Okay. I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
Seconded. All right, we have a motion to adjourn and seconded. All in favor, say aye. Mike?
Aye.
Debbie?
Aye.
Craig?
Aye.
Paul?
Aye.
Aye. All right. Aye for Williams as well. Thank you very much. I will adjourn the meeting. Have a good evening, everyone.
Everyone. Bye,
Take
Katie.
care, everyone.
Good night.
Bye, Debbie.
Have a good evening.